Two. Are you there, James?
I'm here. Evening, everybody.
Good evening.
How are we doing?
Really well. Well, I just took my mask off, so I was getting a bit warm in my mask. As I said, I'm just going through. I've had a few questions from people, so I thought I would do a demonstration again and do a live so that anybody can ask any questions. As I said, I had no control. That's what Celtic West was saying. I had no control. I'm just, just blowing air, and then just trying to. That's full. That is. So let's get rid of that.
That's with a paint decorating airbrush, I see.
Yeah, this is for cake. This is the £20 airbrush I was on about.
Yeah, I said paint. I meant cake decorating airbrush.
Yeah. And I've got a finish like that.
Can't moan at that, can you?
You can't. Look how smooth that's gone down.
So just so everybody knows, Moss didn't tell me he was doing this evening. So I just happened to be sat here in a t-shirt, hence why you haven't got a camera on at the moment.
Hey!
It's a different type of show, but anyway, so just to clarify a couple of things. Moss has quite rightly said that there is pre-orders available on the website. That's the allthew.spruebox.co.uk. There is an offer on there that if you buy 6 items or more, you get 10% off. And the plan is that the paint will be here for the launch, UK launch, at the Scale Model World at Telford. Yeah. Anyone that pre-orders will have a delivery on that day to them of their pre-order. So they will receive it the day of the show, unless you want to pick it up from the show, then you need to tell me that, and I can make sure it's available for you to pick up.
Oh, that's very kind.
On the UK launch, literally anyone that pre-orders will get their paints that they pre-order on that day, as well as we will launch it at Telford, along with some other bits and pieces going on the exhibition stand. So lots going on. A couple of other questions in the chat I'm just going to go through if you don't mind. If we'd organise this, I could highlight the chat, but I can't. So
sorry, mate.
No, that's cool. It's not a problem. Not a problem. So what I did notice was someone was saying that they were going to wait for car paints. Well, I can tell you they do car paints already. So the car paints, all the range, the whole range, everything you can potentially get from Outlaw is on the website already. The only thing that's not on the website is the military colours. At the moment, there's about 108 different colours on there. But that range will increase by November to 170. So not all of those colours are on there at the moment. They will be added in time. And I should imagine they'll be available for pre-order probably a month before or thereabouts. So the idea of the pre-order, let me explain that. So what we want to try and do is we want to try and guesstimate what people will want and try and eliminate any supply issues. So at the moment, I am the sole UK distributor of Outlaw Paints in the UK, or will be when we launch in November. We are planning to have some retail outlets, but there'll be very few of them to start with, and we'll build up very slowly. So we have stock coming in. We've arranged the stock with Jason from Outlaw. And with that, we've got a little bit of leeway, we hope, to eliminate any issues with stock. So, but as with all new things, I can't guarantee that won't be the case, but I'm trying to make sure it doesn't happen. So the answer to that person, and I'm busy trying to scan to try and find that person. Bear with me while I do that. There are car paints there already that you can consider. I know you were talking about a particular purple for a particular vehicle. If it's not in the range that you can see, drop me a personal message. Oh, there we go. It was Wayne Welly. He said he was going to wait for Outlaw to do car paints range, as he wanted a midnight purple for his Skyline model. So if you have a look on the website, if the colour isn't there already, drop me an email with some references to that particular colour, and I can get in contact with Jason and potentially get it made for you for the launch.
He has mentioned that on a few of the live streams I've been in, that if you have a specific colour that you want, for instance, there's I think it was Thunderbird, because I was on the diecast lot the other night, and somebody, I think it was the Thunderbird. There's a specific white that has a very hue gold within it. And what the diecasters are doing when they strip this diecast toy, they end up putting a gold underneath and then spraying the white on top. And Jason said, then just send me a picture with any information, like any color coding or any numbers after it or anything. They can do it. They've got the technology to do it. And they will make it for you, and they'll probably do a batch of them. And if the diecast lot say we do this and we need this paint, it's in his best interest to mix up a batch full of it, because there'll be other diecasters who want that same color. So it won't be any skin off his nose to do it.
No, but I think more importantly, yeah, of course they've got the technology because they're making the paint, but it's more of a case they are that adaptable and willing to provide a product that the user wants. So if there's a color that's not there that they've missed or they haven't got round to, we can organize that. One thing I would say, there is a caveat to that, I will say. That obviously the paint comes from Australia. So if you miss a shipment, you may have to wait some time for it. Although Jason may well be able to send it out to you with you paying the postage, etc., from them directly. But we can get around that and arrange that. Wayne, I can see you've put a number in there for the Nissan Skyline. Could you do me a massive favour and just drop me an email? That would be absolutely fantastic, because I'm going to write that down on a piece of paper, but I'm more than likely to go and lose it because I'm pretty crap like that. So if you drop that to thesprewbox@gmail.com, that's the best way you can get in contact with me and make those requests. So that's cool. You can do it through the website as well. The website is live for chat 24/7. The only thing that is a caveat to that is whether I'm awake and looking at it, because I might be at work or asleep. So, but I will pick up the message, and I'm pretty good in answering all messages and inquiries within a very short space of time. So, if you Wayne, if you can send that over to me, I'd be really grateful, and I can make that inquiry for you.
Just before, just showing people that this airbrush is now clean, because all I've done is I can prove it's clean, because all I've done was clean it out with a bit of kitchen roll, bit of IPA in it, and if you see now, if I just blow this through, if I switch it on, see that?
Yeah.
Pure, just clean. That's with IPA. So I've used IPA to clean it out, clean the this airbrush out with. But Ella, for a cheap airbrush, that I think that's a pretty good finish on that one.
Yeah, can't complain with that.
Can't complain with that, can you? So it's but I thought, with the questions being asked, like who's where are we going to get it from and when's it due and everything, I thought I'd just pop on and do it. I said I haven't got a gloss. The gloss is coming, so I want to do a gloss coat on these models as well, because as I said, when I tried to put the decals down, especially on this one here, unfortunately, because I only had a satin, it didn't go down so well. But this is sprayed with this had two coats. This was two coats using my Infinity, with a little bit of highlight in here on the edge, because that's what the picture demanded. I think that's covered extremely well. Pretty happy with these paints so far. And as I said, this one here is all done and dusted now. This is me, Oster Antarctic. You can see I've sprayed it up, weathered it, ready for display. Very, very happy with it indeed. So I think this is a winner for paint. I really do.
Yeah, I think with so one of the questions which I've been asked quite often is that how long does a bottle of paint last? Well, I'm gonna be blunt. I've not put a whole bottle of paint through an airbrush, so I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is, because the paint is very rich in fine pigment, you tend to find that you can put a light coat over something, and it is almost 2 coats and done.
Yes. Yeah.
I would say there's a caveat with that, with obviously because some colours you might need to put a third one over, something like that. But anyway, I was really, really surprised myself when I first tried it. Now, I'll give you some understanding behind that is because I'm an acrylic user. I'm not a lacquer user. And this is my first use of acrylics. And I was a little bit worried by it all, like somebody might be. But one thing in which I realised quite quickly was I don't do any pre-shading. I do all my shading post-shading.
Exactly, yeah.
But with this, actually, do you know what? I think the people that do the pre-shading are really going to appreciate the fact this is already made for them. It gives them a consistency of paint. There's no mixing ratios or anything to worry about. It's all done for you. You can tin it a little bit if you want to, although I would personally advise you not to, because the guys have spent a lot of time making sure that the viscosity of the paint is exactly to its best performance. But you can. And like I say, I've got some pretty reasonable results from just having a very quick spray on a couple of bits and pieces. And even to the point of, those dreaded colours like yellow, for example, you've done your plane there in yellow, and when you actually did that, we were together. I was actually watching him to hear his reaction. I wish I could play it back, but I can't.
Have you got it? Did you record it? I thought you recorded it.
I did record it, but I haven't done anything with it because it basically would just be a whole string of bleeps because you were so.
Hey,
so
send
happy.
it to me. I'll edit it out. But this is what it was. It was this, wasn't it?
It was that,
yeah. Because that's what you can see. This side, that's the original paint. On, let me go on big screen a minute, right? So this was the original paint, the original plastic. You can see the primer there, and that was one coat.
Yeah.
And then the other side, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've never sprayed yellow that good. So, yeah, I was effing and jeffing in delight.
There was a lot more letters of the alphabet used other than F and J.
Effing and jeffing, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean it surprised me massively, and I think one of the things I remember saying to you was I was quite worried about the primer because I couldn't really grasp why I was worried by it. But I use an acrylic primer.
Yeah.
All very happy with it, no problems whatsoever. Done some Outlaw primer and thought, I'm going to use so much of it. And I suddenly realised the whole problem wasn't actually that I was going to use a lot of it, because I didn't. The problem was it was a clear bottle. I could see what was inside.
Yeah.
My other bottle, you can't see how much is in there. So you don't really know what you're using unless you're counting the amount of cups that you fill up if you're doing a big project. So that sort of waylaid my problems and the my worries. But the other thing that I feel fairly confident in saying this because I am somebody that's not used lacquers, and it's not my go-to paint. Every paint system I've ever used, I spray it and go, I'm not sure I'm going to get on with this. And you end up having to play with it and learn how to use the product. And I always say, whatever tool you use on your bench, whether it be glue, paint, or whatever, you're going to have to learn how to use it so don't get frustrated. But with this paint, I literally went, psh, psh, psh. I haven't got anything to learn.
Yeah.
So I think I'm confident enough to say I believe that this is for somebody that's new to airbrushing, new to lacquer paints. This will not kick you in the arse. You'll get a good result first time, and you will carry on using it because of that reason.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, obviously, someone that hasn't used a paintbrush before, that does need a little bit of learning too, because there are a bit of finessing that you might need to learn with an airbrush. But for the paint itself, I believe anyone could pick this up and get the perfect result every time, first time.
My tip, like you saw, is always airbrush onto paper first, to get a feel. It's like a clutch pedal. Every car's clutch pedal has a different bite point. So you saw then, I pulled the trigger back far because my infinity goes back far. But because I did it on the paper, I can see that I only need to pull back just a little bit to start getting the paint through. But if I pulled it back too far, I would have flooded it. So the idea is to actually spray it on the paper first, make sure it's going through. Then from the paper, that's how I spray. It's on there from the paper onto the model. Do you know what I mean? That's how I've done it.
Yeah.
So from the paper, make sure you're all right, got that trigger feeling, then pull it back onto the paper, then onto the model, backwards and forwards. You know, that's how I've always done it. Second thing is, if you want to know, I've sprayed this Bearcat up. Now, this Bearcat's had 2 coats and a half, because what I did, I sprayed it up, did the end of both sides, and then did it again. And on the third pass, I wanted to see how well I can get a glossy finish. So what I did, I went heavy and I put a wet coat on here and there and under there. So that's 2.5, maybe 3 coats there. And I've also done 2 coats. So yeah, what was it? Yeah. So this one's had 2 coats. This one's had a coat and a half or coat, you know. And that's how much of the bottle I've got. It's hard to see. Let me just twist the camera a minute so you can see. So you got a good idea. Whoops. So that's how much I've used. About a third. Because remember, it's not filled to the top. It's filled to about there. So that's how much I've used. That's not a lot. I bet there's 5. I think there's 5 models worth in here of 172 and 4 models worth of 148. Just as a guesstimate. So there's quite you get a lot for your money, I think. So that's just so I've done these using this bottle, and also my yellow. That's looking a bit half now, but I've done the Oster. I've done where's the other the other one that I did. Yeah, so it depends what you're using it for, but yeah, I think you'll get a fair whack. Remember, these are 30mm, and if you look at the Tamiya is 10mm, isn't it? So Tamiya is 10mm, and you have to what's it called? You have to thin them.
You have to thin it, yeah.
Because you don't, they go straight out the bottle into your airbrush, and they clean, and the airbrush gets clean really quick. Just a question I put on the screen for you, James. Let me just go back to
got it.
You've got change now. Will the paint be manufactured in the UK at some time in the future?
There is a possibility of that, but we're not going to jump the gun on that right now. Let's get it in the country and get it in on people's benches. Basically, Jason and I have been talking about this for since the beginning of before this year, actually. In December we started talking, and this has grown organically since then. So there's a lot of things to be done before we get to anywhere near that point. A rich widow with a dodgy heart condition would be one of the requirements for that. But there is that possibility. It is available or will be available in the US. High altitude models.
They've already sold out. That's the problem, though. The shipment that's gone to them is already sold out.
I'm not sure of that, but I've not spoken to them personally. So
I was just hearing what Jason was saying the other night, that the first batch has gone to high altitudes, already sold out, and the next lot. I think you're next on the list, because am I right? It's the end of July. Yours is being shipped out.
Yeah, so we're finally going to get our bits and pieces sorted in the next couple of weeks, and then I'll have a proper date. But it will. What I will guarantee is it will be here before Telford, and those pre-orders will be hitting people's doors on the day of the launch. That's the idea. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would ask. I have when I put it on the website, I did say it would be as close as it possibly could to the 11th of November. Yeah. But that's the plan. The plan is that it will be there. So, what I might do is I might actually email the people that have done the pre-orders and make sure they're going to be in. Because if they're all at Telford, that's going to be a bit of a worry.
Just feeling that. That's so smooth.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with the paint. It is something in which, as I said, as someone that a first time user can and someone that is very used to all sorts of paints, will get it right first time every time. So, and that's quite a bit of a claim. I appreciate that. You know,
we like a claim though, don't we?
I can't take into account people's airbrushes and how clean they are.
Yeah.
But you know, from my experience, from the experience of people that have tested it that I've seen, and the lives that I've seen with Jason as well, it does seem to be that way. So I think we're confident. Oh well, I'm confident enough to make that claim. So
fair play.
So that's
cool. I'm hooked. I'm hooked. In fact, that my next auction is going to be my Vallejo paint range. We'll just put up for auction. Anybody want it? Some, not all, you know, some of it's being used. The trouble with Vallejo model there is that I've had it in my drawer. Because it's in that drawer there, I don't really go looking for it. So I've got all the Tamiya around me, you see. But the first thing is going for Vallejo model. And don't get me wrong, that model there, you can brush paint that with that stuff as well. So, but I'm going to put that for auction. Somebody wants my range of Vallejo model wear. Even if it goes for 20 quid, get somebody, you know. But I think I paid 150 quid for it. It was like £2 a bottle, and there's like 100 pots there, I think it is. So, but I thought that because I've been loads of questions have been asked. When is it available? When's it? You know, what's it like? I thought I'd do a live stream on it, and look, the proof's in the pudding. I've just used a £20 airbrush, single action. That, you know, the pressure's already set. Have you got one as well? Have you? Yeah. The pressure's already set, and I've sprayed with it, and I've got a good finish. That's it. You switch it on. That's the pressure. There's no. All you can do is how much paint you put through the needle, and I've cleaned it up using IPA, and that's ready to go next time. In fact, I'm going to take this to my next model club, and I'm going to just brush paint the paint there at model club. Take this with me because I'm confident now. After doing that, I'm confident I can get a good enough finish.
Yeah.
You know, I would never use this if I was pre-shading. You never use it because I think in here, I think there's a 0.5 needle. The way that came out, I think that's a 0.5 needle in there because that was quite wide. That was quite a wide. Yeah.
But you can change the needles on those.
I didn't come with a needle.
No, it doesn't come with a needle, but you can change them.
But you got to change the nozzle as well at the same time, then, wouldn't you?
Potentially, depending on what you use. But yeah,
if it's too long, you get some tip dry, then, wouldn't you? So it's more too, you know, using a cheap £20, you know, all-in-one compressor airbrush from Audi or Lidl, wherever I got it from, that's fantastic. So I feel confident now I'll be able to brush paint at a model club using that airbrush. So, are you excited about it though, James? I'm sure
I'm super excited. I got to be honest. Yeah. I mean, Jason mocks me terribly the fact that I'm very reserved in my excitedness.
Yeah,
I'm not effing and jeffing, but I am super excited. It's for me. I think it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Certainly for my hobby.
Yeah.
There are going to be things I need to figure out because I'm not that I know I've got a list because I haven't, but I'm sure there'll be something along the way that I'll go, oh right, how do I do that? Because I'm used to doing it this way or whatever. But yeah, I'm super excited. I've got a model on the bench that I'm videoing, which should go out in the next few weeks, hopefully if I get some bench time, which shows me using the paint, and the model will be 100% outlaw throughout the build. So and the idea will be I've got a couple of people that are going to be building some models and stuff using the paints, and those models will be at Telford for people to pick up and look at and feel. And don't get me wrong, it'll be down to the quality of the painter or the modeler. So you know,
I am a shit modeler. I am a shit lazy modeler. I just love doing it. I'm not fanciful or anything. I just build a model and I like it, you know. And I couldn't give two F's what people think. I could have, I just build them all and do. But I love ease, and for me, like I was showing, all I do is put the pipette back in, pull it up back into the bottle. There's no wastage. You got the residues, obviously, and just two blips with the IPA. you it's a win-win chicken dinner, isn't it?
But that's the thing, is that when you're mixing the paints, I mean, I can talk from an acrylic side of the view of it. When I mix paints, I do waste paint.
Yeah.
Because I've got nowhere to put that paint afterwards.
No.
I do have some bottles with particular shades I've made because I use model color, so they're not necessarily the right shade as you pick it off the shelf. So I've got a few bottles. I've got a load of empty ones underneath that I should use, but generally don't. I end up throwing a little bit of paint away each time.
Yeah.
And it's amazing actually how much paint you do use and or go to use and don't actually finish using what's in that pot. And it's a really difficult thing to do when you're mixing paints to get the right quantity. I mean, how many times have you mixed some paint up, sprayed it onto your model and gone, oh, I haven't got enough to finish it. I've got to make a little bit more to do it because you've been a little bit cautious in the way you've made it up. So that eliminates all of that. That also eliminates the thinners and the other bits and pieces you need for the paint, which obviously goes into, you should count into the costs if you're going to try and compare it, let's say, to Tamiya. I personally, this is my personal feeling, I've never got on with Tamiya. I've never liked it. It's not something I've ever got on with. I'm not saying it's a crap paint because I'm not. It's very well known. It's very well used, and loads of people love it. But for me, I can't stand it. So again, for this particular product, the fact that I can just pull it off the shelf and pour it into my airbrush or whatever, I can spray it away and I'm fine. And then if I've got anything left in it, I just pour it straight back in the bottle, and I know I've not lost anything. So for me, that's a big thing. And yeah, I am super excited. I can't wait to do some projects and stuff. I did plan in January to be doing 2 124 Spitfires. And one of them was going to be with Outlaw Paints and one was going to be with what I normally would use. But obviously, I haven't got time to do that now. We're way down the line to get those projects finished because I wanted to take them to Telford and all that. And then, if I'm honest, the amount of space they took up was probably impractical anyway. So, but yeah, so we're going to have some small models that you can pick up and there won't be anything you can break up. Well, if you break something off, you break something off. I don't care. That's what the idea is. You pick it up, you look at it, you can feel the texture yourself and the finish, and then that way you can make a good judgment as to whether you want to get on board. There was someone there in the chat I just noticed a minute ago saying that. Dan was saying, or Paul's saying, Dan, when are you going to try the paint? When you try the paint, you won't go back. This is a claim that's out there. Yeah. Dan Asher was saying that I like the idea of not having any faff about thinning the paint, but I like painting, brush painting now and again. Absolutely. I mean, this isn't going to replace your brush painting paints. This is for airbrushing, very much that way, and it's designed for that. So that's something I've not done with it. I've not tried to put it like with a brush, but I'm guessing it's not going to be that great because it's not designed for that process. But what I will say, although I've not come on here to talk about it, keep an eye out. I just put a release out today that there is another paint range that will be at Telford as well, which is all about brush painting. So Two Thin Coats is the name of the product. And if you know anything about Warhammer paints and all that sort of stuff, you'll know that a particular person was involved with that, and he is involved with this brand as well. So Duncan Rhodes is his name, very well known within the Warhammer world, and we're going to bring that into our world to see how you see to see how it works in what we do.
Is that the ones that was the ones that Models for Heroes were using?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's another paint. That particular paint is its catchphrase is Two Thin Coats because that's the catchphrase of Duncan Rhodes in some of his YouTube or his YouTube interactions. But the paint is designed for that. Exactly, 2 thin coats and you're done. And it does exactly what it says on the bottle. So that's pretty exciting as well. But anyway, back to Outlaw Paints. What other things have been asked or said in the chat?
Yeah, just go through. Again, my super fan, bless him, said a bad paint can make good modeler look terrible, but a good paint can make an average look better. And he's absolutely right. I'm average, yeah. My paint is put away, and my kids know my paint is mine, and they use it, and they use their own. That's fair enough. Gary Hidler said, currently have some 3 milliliter plastic pots that I mix thin my acrylic paints from dropper bottles. Can't wait for these paints to arrive. Yeah, that's it. It's going to be interesting. John Alex said, when I go to high out shop, there's no make sure the Outlaw Paints, they're updating their website. I think Jason was saying, because it's not just like 50 paints. The range is 800. No, was it 800? He said, or 600 in total.
All told,
was it 6 or 800?
All told. So if you include the railway, the car, the solid, the military, I think last time I checked, it was about 635 off the top of my head.
Yeah, and
that would include finishing products, because they do clears and all that sort of stuff. And there's a load of stuff on there that we've not mentioned, but yeah, there's a lot of product there, an awful lot. And that's the hard part with retailers, is that to ask them to stock a full range is a lot to ask.
It is.
And I've specifically made sure with the people I've asked that they are not the bigger everywhere sort of business that's in the UK. It's nothing against those guys at all. The smaller people have helped me through my 48-hour fundraising and stuff for the last couple of years, and I have an opportunity to give back to them something, which then they can give to their customers that have supported them as well. So that seemed like a logical way of doing it, and it also gives us ability to control the influx. So there are plans for it to be in Europe. They are still ongoing at the moment, but that's a little bit complicated. I was asked to do it, but there's a lot of paperwork and all sorts involved in that, and that would involve 2 very wealthy widows with a very dodgy heart to achieve.
Where do I sign up, by the way? Where do you want my investment?
Where do you sign up for your investment? I think that's what you've done already, to be honest. With your,
I'm being very careful, because it's been mentioned I'm an ambassador. I wouldn't class myself as an ambassador. I'm claiming, I'm putting my claim that when you get these paints, you're going to be blown away. And Jason, it said, there's anything I need, just ring him and he'll get it sorted. So I'm not being paid as an ambassador. My payment is having brilliant paints to do my models with. So when the idea is that when I get the full military range in, every model build now, when it comes to the airbrush, will be using the Outlaw paints, and unless somebody comes along with a decent hairy stick paint, I'll continue using Humbrol, because that's what I do. I use Humbrol to paint hairy. I honestly, the Gen 2 stuff, and I hate it being called Gen 2, but what I've used so far, just a little bit of water with it. Drop your bottle, tiny bit of water. I'm getting some good results just by brushing it, but frig off, you think I'm going to put that through my airbrush, and that's, I'm very, I don't put any old crap through me Infinity, because you know how much the seals are. This is what I mean. This Brush Magic made me cry, because I left it in overnight and I had no seals left. But if you use it, just use, that's what I do. If I'm changing colors, IPA, blow it through, it cleans up. You saw it there on that brush. But the end of a heavy session, I will put 2 or 3 drops of this in the bottom after I've gone through that process. Let it set there for 1 or 2 minutes. then blow it through, then the IPA through to get rid of the brush magic. I haven't stripped that Infinity airbrush coming on to 3.5 months now. What are we into now? July. So it's April, May, June, July. Yeah, end of April. I stripped that airbrush completely and I put it through me sonic cleaner, got it completely, everything, new seals in it, sealed it up, not opened it since, all because I've been cleaning it properly. I've not had to open it again. Just saying, you know. And this stuff does actually come off. And thank you very much, Crazy Loca, for the super chat. Much appreciated, my friend.
Yeah,
much
well
appreciated. Thank you for
Crazy.
that. But yeah, I appreciate that, Crazy Loca. Thank you again from my heart. The ease of cleaning is also a big thing, and also the fact that, like I've shown you today, just do that with it. Really hard shake, and boom, you are mixed. There's, so that's it. That's all I've got to say about it, really.
Yeah, you're right in everything you said. I mean, a couple of things I would say about airbrushing is just general, is that remember to keep on top of your airbrush cleaning regime, whatever that may be. And if you've got any issues with spraying your paint, it is probably 99% down to the fact it's not clean properly. Even though you're looking at it and you think, well, I think it's clean, it probably isn't. So you will need to give it a good cleaning from time to time.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say about the trigger action you mentioned earlier. Now, trigger action, one of the tips that was given on the 48-hour was from an airbrush demon. I call him Gilmore Dragon. Painter. His tip was this trigger action thing. It's muscle memory. So before you sit down to do a bit of airbrushing, his advice, which is a great tip, fill your cup up with a little bit of water. And practice your trigger action. And you'd be amazed how that prevents any of those first spray issues that you generally have when you're airbrushing, because it's all about that, all about your muscle memory. So, and even to a point, if you're sitting watching this and you're thinking, well, I've got nothing to do, I've got my airbrush is there, the compressor's on, put a little bit of water in and do a little bit of that while you're watching. It will help and make a lot of difference to your processing with airbrushing, no matter what the product is. So so there you go. Crazy is crazy, and I can't believe you've been on a live show for almost an hour without mentioning Humbrol until just a moment ago.
I just had a Plastic Alchemist contacted me before saying his starter set came and all the paints are dry. So I said there's a video on it if you want to see a video on how to get free paints to replace your starter set ones. Explain the process. Two other things people are asking. I do have extraction system there in that one there. So, that one there is quite a powerful one. So even though I'm spraying on my bench, the extraction is pulling all the time. Turned it off now. I've got extraction system there. And I do wear masks, and I've seen people wear Darth Vader masks, okay? I don't use Darth Vader masks. What do that mask I was using? I just use one of these when I'm spraying with lacquer. Got the window open anyway, got the extraction on. This is all I use. That's all I use. I see some car sprayers use these. They seal around your mouth. They protect you from COVID as well, probably. I don't go into these big filter things, but just wear a mask because it is lacquer. No matter what people say, it is lacquer paint, and lacquer.
Very, very important is to make sure you protect yourselves.
Protect yourself.
And I'd also suggest to you make sure you wear gloves as well. There's nothing in the paint that's going to hurt you, with an initial touch, but over a long period of time, with all lacquers, there are issues that will cause you health issues, and we wouldn't want that. We wouldn't promote that in any way, shape, or form. And if you do spray in a ham, please make sure that you've got an extractor and you're using it. But more importantly, make sure your filter is clear, because a lot of people will use their extractor. And I could show you right now, my filter needs to be changed because it is not the right color. It is just paint, basically. So make sure you're keeping up to date with that. the same as your airbrush. Just remember, to get the best results, you've got to get the equipment operating in the best possible way, and that includes your extractor. So if you're in a room and you've got the ability to open a window, yeah, that's fine. But an extractor would be a lot better for you. And make sure you wear a mask, please.
Yeah, I've always said, as long as you've got the door open there, the window open there, you've got a breeze coming through, you've got the extraction fan, and you're wearing a mask, and that's basically all you need, really. It's I think the problem is it's over a long period of time, but
it doesn't actually have to be over a long period of time. It can be over a short period of time if you're in an enclosed space and you're breathing all of those fumes in. Just remember, when you're airbrushing something, all you're doing is basically atomizing whatever you put into that paint. You will breathe it in. And if you do just acrylics, for example, and don't use a mask and don't use an extractor, go and blow your nose after you finish your airbrushing, because it will be in your nose. So yeah, take care of yourself, because that's really, really important. Don't want any health issues from your hobby. The hobby is there to take away the stress and give you pleasure, not to provide stress and take away the pleasure. So yeah, keep on top of that.
But a good extraction system. Yeah.
One other thing I will say as well, on the website right now is a promotion to purchase. If you wish to, you want to go mad, you can purchase the whole military range. Now that advert on there is for the full military range of the time of the advert. So a couple of extra colours have come in that aren't included in that, but it does specifically tell you how many bottles of paint it will get and the figure it is. We will be doing a similar thing for the railway colours and for the car colours, and some other bits and pieces as well over the coming months. But again, get those orders in as soon as you can, really, if that's what you want to do. Or if you want to hold fire and wait until Telford, or pick a couple of bottles up. I've got loads of people that have picked a couple of selection of colours they particularly want to try, because there are colours out there that are a bit of a pain sometimes, and certain manufacturers I'm aware of, there are certain colours that they have issues with. So you want to do that, more than happy to do that. And then
I've said this before, I'll say it again, mate. I don't know why you don't do a 4-bottle starter just to do a Spitfire. The RAF green, the cockpit green, the brown, and the sky, or the duck egg, wherever it is. Do a 4-pack for 20 quid or something like that. So you get your 4 paints. The trouble is you can't do a primer, because the primer is always going to be in the big bottle, in it. You won't be able to get the primer in the 30ml. The primer always comes 100ml, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But if you add those 4 as a starter, because everyone thinks, well, you go to Aldi and pick up a Spitfire at Christmas for $5.99 or $6.99. I think that's the one way you're going to get people buying it, is to actually do a 4-bottle special of the 4 colours you need to do a Spitfire. That's what I think you need to do. Just putting it out there. That, look at my Hataka ranges. I didn't buy a Hataka range bump. I bought, also with the Spitfire, you can do the Hurricane with it as well, can't you? But I've got the World War II early, World War II late. So that covers all my Corsair, my Bearcats, and my Hellcat. That was like a 5-bottle range. I've got the World War II UK RAF range there. I've also got the US tanks, US UK tanks range. So I bought them in sets. So whether that's something you can look at, pardon?
They come in sets.
Yeah. So you're going to do that, are you?
No, I didn't say I was going to do it. I just said that the Hataka comes in sets. And yes, we did. Jason and I did talk about different ways in which we could do it. We did talk about producing a smaller bottle and making a box set effectively up for such a thing. And there were lots of reasons why we didn't do it, but it is something that might come in the future. There are a few things in the pipeline that I can't say right now. Moss.
I know that. Yeah, I'm just saying. SMS.
It's fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. If anyone's got ideas or suggestions, I'm always open to suggestions and ideas. Of course I am.
Yeah.
I'd be mad not to.
Yeah.
But there are a few things that are coming, and a few things that will be at Telford specifically for the launch, which will be a special offer, I guess, would be the best way of putting it. I can't tell you more than that at the moment because I want to keep it under the wraps. But yeah, there are some things coming.
You're just as bad as Airfix to me. They like
I'm
carrot on a string or bottle of whiskey on a string.
This is the bald fat version of Dale.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've got some things planned. I mean, like I said, we already set out today our table, so to speak, of what we will be taking to Telford, and it does give you the carrot in there as well that there are a few other things to come. But what we will do is we will have a few things for each day. If that makes sense. They may be the same, they might not be, but they will be limited. So, but there'll be more released about that nearer the time. So, but yeah, so yeah, we've got we've got some things. Yeah, I now know how Dale feels. So know how Dale feels. Yeah, so there's a few things planned in the pipeline. Because obviously the big thing for me is that I'm taking quite a big gamble to bring something into the country that's, let's face it, unknown as such. And the concern for me, like I suggested earlier, was that we would get ourselves in a situation that we would build far too much hype up and create a supply issue. And, you know, waiting 50 days for it to come on a boat is a bit of an ache, I think would be the right phrase. So we have to judge that and be careful of how we promote that. So Jason's been really good to me personally in what the deal we put together. And also I've tried to reciprocate that by sorting some stuff out for him. So one of the things that we will do is obviously we'll do this year, but then next year Jason and the team will be coming over. That's already pre-arranged, not booked because it's not open to book yet, but will be booked over that week at the end of that weekend for Jason. And the supply for that will already be here from this year. So that's the plan. Unless something drastic comes up, I can't see it changing. I apologise in advance for bringing more Australians over, but he won't be behind the bar or serving drinks. He'll just be loud and annoying. So that's okay.
He keeps saying we should go over there. Me and you go over there and see it all in operation. Said
Well,
that'd be a bit of a. But yeah, and also the first point is that I've actually paid for these paints, so I'm not giving them. I paid for them.
Yeah. So the military paints. Let's clarify that completely. The military paints were something that Moss bought a voucher on the 48-hour build, and part of that voucher was the military range. So and he's paid for the delivery of that as well. So he is not promoting it from an aspect of getting free stuff.
No.
Anyone that actually knows me really well would know that I am a very dry sponge when it comes to that sort of thing, because not because I'm not kind and willing to give stuff away. It's more a case of I want people to say this is a great product and I've bought it and I know I've bought it, so I can shout and scream about it in confidence without someone pointing the finger and saying, oh yeah, but you would say that you got it free, right? I don't want to do that. The product I feel is strong enough to stand by itself. I don't need to give it away. And if people want to try it for videos and stuff, then I might do something with them. But initially it won't be free. So that's not how I work. So
that's it. That's what I just want to make that clarified, that I've invested in the paints and on a wing and a prayer because I didn't know what they were like. But the trouble is with Jason, he's a man of his word, and he's and he and to be fair, with all the custom charges, he's taken a chunk of it on his chin as well. So I'm heavily invested, and I know he said that when it comes to replacements or anything specific, he'll help me out. And he's calling me an ambassador. At the end of the day, it's the reason I'm putting my name to it is because it's bloody good paint.
Well, can you imagine how many ambassadors there are going to be?
Mm.
You know, if every person that purchases that product gets the same reaction as what you gave on your first interaction.
You're gonna have to send it over. Just send it over to me so I can.
They will all be ambassadors, and that's the key. At the end of the day, you look at any brand. A brand works on two different ways: brand recognition, i.e., it's something that's out there and everybody knows it and everyone's shouting and screaming about it, and the fact that it does what it says it's going to do. Every product I've tried that I've really enjoyed using, I'll promote because I enjoy it. Any product that I've used that I don't get on with so well, I won't trash them, but at the same degree, I won't use them. So, you know, I think most people are like that. The only time that that's slightly different is if they've had a bad experience, they've reported that bad experience to the company, and the company has been ill-advised in their reaction, shall we say, to them. And it creates a bad air. There's loads of those scenarios out there, but that's not what we're about. Spruebox is about the experience and about the community around that experience. That's the whole ethos of what I try and do with that, with the model officers mess and the charity events. It's all about community and using the products that we use, enjoying them and promoting them amongst ourselves and further if we can. So yeah, I totally get that. And you're right, Jason was very, very kind with his initial donation for the charity calls that we did in March. So much so I had to rein him in at the beginning. But then I made the mistake of letting him go live. And then he got very carried away and began making all sorts of promises that he's kept. There's no issue with that. But it's... and again, being the other side of the world, it is a little complicated in the shipping side of things. So, but yeah, anyone in the chat, and if you've got any questions specifically about the paint or anything like that, by all means, let me know. Here, and I can answer them for you. If you're watching this back at some point, because that is actually going live on my YouTube channel as well, which there's not many people watching because everyone's like, well, I don't do impromptu lives very often. So, but yeah, if you've got any questions, you can stick them in the comments below the video or get in contact with me directly.
You're sharing this on yours anyway as well, aren't you? So that's good.
Yeah.
But as I said, anyone's got any comments or questions, go to spruebox.co.uk. They've got a chat box there, so you can go and put your comment in the chat on their website if you've got any questions. That's the quickest way of getting a response. Because
or the more important way to do it actually is if you go onto the website and subscribe to the website, you can still do that same chat business, but you also will get alerts of anything that's going on, any offers or any other bits of things going on through the website. We email out once a month-ish, but we are going to start building up our blogs that we've been doing to every fortnight in the very near future. So there's a few things that are coming, and it's very busy. But
anyway, it's 8 o'clock now, and I only was going to come on for half an hour, and I've been on like an hour and 15 minutes. So
that's cool.
But as I said, I thought I'd come on and just put it on. One question came in: are the paints like Alclad 2?
So I can't really answer that question because I've never used Alclad. So I would guess they are similar. They're similar to, Doc's put in there, they're close to SMS paints. Yes, they are close. However, the only difference I can tell you, certainly with the SMS paints and Outlaw, is the pigment. So one of the massive big differences with this particular paint is they use a liquid pigment instead of powdered pigment. I haven't got the ability to show you as such.
What's that? Sorry,
I haven't got I can't compare products because I haven't got them here to compare. But if there you go. Yeah. So as you can see there, that's quite a lot of pigment. In that bottle. They do vary in depth. Some of them are quite high, almost half actually in some. Not all, but some. But you will find that's the massive difference with this particular paint, is that the pigment is a rich, fine pigment liquid that they use. And that creates a much better flow on your model as well. Some paints, I'm told, again, this is what I've been told, this is not factual in that I know 100%, but there are products that are put into some of the lacquers in which if you leave them sat on the side for a long time, you will see the difference of that particular product that they've added and the pigment. So there's like a filler, if you like, for want of a better word. What that is, I have no idea. I'm not a paint chemist in any way, shape or form. But I can assure you with the product in which I'm going to be promoting and selling is a liquid pigment, and it is rich in it. So don't worry about that bottle. Will you get to a point in the bottle where there's not enough pigment? There'll always be the same amount of pigment all the way through that bottle. And like Moss has already demonstrated, a very quick shake and it's already there.
It's already there. Yeah. So if you want to go back and watch a video, like I said, I've used a very, very cheap airbrush. So that answers that question. You can use any airbrush. You know, I've done Infinity, I've done that. I can't be asked doing any others because that's basically if you go from the one extreme to the other, you're going, it's going to work in either. Yes, I am going to be moving on to the moving on from Tamiya lacquer paints onto Outlaw. I've explained in the video, how easy it is and how quick drying it is as well. But that doesn't mean that you can put decals on it straight away. No. I would always leave paint 24 hours before you start.
You must allow time for it to
curing. It may be dry, but it's not cured. You've got to leave it to cure.
Absolutely. And I challenge. While I got you for a second, I will challenge Little History, who said in the chat there, it will take a cattle prod for him to move him off Tamiya. Every time he's moved in the past, it's not worked out. So totally understand that. Don't get me wrong. With the paints that I've been using prior to this, I'm very much the same. I've got almost full range of model color because that's what I got to learn with, and that's how I can become very comfortable with, and that's what I've stuck with. So I get that 100%. Although the only thing I would say to you is I'll challenge you: get yourself a bottle, just one bottle, and give it a go. And just see. Don't go mad. Just get yourself one bottle. And what I would suggest you do is that color that you always have issues with from other brands, maybe, or from Tamiya as well. Pick that color, get it in Outlaw, and then see if you can stick to what you've just said. Because I think there is a very strong possibility that cattle prod just happened.
And seeing with the Tamiya lacquer paint range, was it 55? Is it 55 colours or something in it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, modern, military. The military range itself is 177.
Yeah.
And they said that over time they'll be adding more to that range anyway.
Yeah.
So it's I've got a 1:18 scale ME 262 to paint. Do they do it by the gallon? I reckon 2 pots would cover it.
I know they don't do it by the gallon, but I'm sure if you ask nicely, we can arrange it. The reason I say that is because one of the guys that have used the paint have just finished, I believe, the Yamamoto, which is a big boat, and they actually said to Jason, look, we need to have the whole colours in bigger bottles. So there you go, 100ml bottles. They're on they're not on my website yet, but they will be. They're one of the things that will be additions.
Yeah, definitely.
So not at the moment, no, but I would give it a go if you can. I'm not sure where you are in the world, Little History, so drop me a line if you have any issues trying to get hold of any. I'll try and point you in the right direction if I can. But give it. I would really seriously give it a go. And I'll be honest with you, from my point of view, I have never been put in a position where I would say you must try this product. There are products I like, there are products I love, but I've never been in a position where I can literally pick up a bottle and say to you, never use an airbrush, try that, it'll work first time, and I can say that with utter confidence. So,
right, folks.
He lives in York. Okay, cool.
Well, there you go then.
If you're going to Telford, come over and see me. If not, drop me a message and have a chat.
Yeah. I just wish I had more because I want to actually give people a bottle. That's what I wish I had more, but I've just given Jason my list of what I've got. What I should have done was knock 5 off the list, and then he'll replace them 5. I could have given the other 5 out, but
we've not allowed for giveaways as such. However, on a giveaway, what I can tell you is the full military range has been donated to Models for Heroes for the Telford show. Now, I believe it's all going to go in one thing, which will be the usual rivet counter thing they do, which is a pot of rivets, and you have to guess how many rivets in there. So that will be available for you to buy a ticket to and take part in. And you could be lucky and end up with 170 odd bottles of paint for the price of that ticket. So there is that coming up as well at Telford. So you really should give them a go. I can't. Anyone that knows how I operate, I don't jump up and down about things unless I've tried them, unless I'm confident in what I'm saying. And as I said all the way through this, I can tell you things I've been told. But I can't tell you if they're right or wrong because I haven't experienced them. So, but in this particular matter, they are good. And watch out for the videos that will be coming out soon, showing you. I've specifically not done loads of videos because I'm selling it. Yeah. And I don't want people to think, oh, that video is a load of rubbish because he's selling it. Of course, it's going to be brilliant. I want people that are using it to do the videos and give their opinions, like Moss has. So, yeah. And you've had my opinion. And I said, please send me over that clip because I'll do something with it. I will once I've done my editing. Yes. Yeah. You send me the clip over with the swearing in. Because you were there. You get the full thing. Yeah. You get the full thing. You went really quiet. You were like, I'm sort of editing it at the moment, so yes. I wasn't expecting you to record it. It was when you said you realised I've recorded you, and I was like, wow. So no, the problem was is I'd anticipated on saying to you, Moss, do you mind if I record you in your first interactions with it? Yeah. And explain why I wanted to do it and la la la. Yeah. But of course, you were so excited to get that paint open and in the airbrush that I didn't have a chance to have that conversation with you because we got online together and you were like, right, you ready? I'm going. And I'm like, So I pressed record thinking I feel really bad because he doesn't know I'm doing it. But the whole world will be there like with me effing and jeffing nursing a semi because this paint's gone on so really well, you know what I mean? That was really good. I didn't actually mention anything you said at all, but yes, you did mention something about that. Yes, I believe. Yeah, I was like, whoa. and something about make sure you use tissue and all that. Exactly. To do with the painting more than anything else. So. It was, I've sprayed, I've sprayed LP, and to be fair, Tamiya LP has been my go-to, and I enjoy it, and when I sprayed up that Ford GT with what I call Iron Man Red, it was lovely. It was straight on, wet coat on top, yeah. But anyway, I've got to go now. It's 8:15. Thanks for joining me tonight, James, as well for going on. I was trying to email you, but it was like I was on my own. I thought I'll just get on because I'm not going to do an Airfix and Chill tomorrow night. I thought I'm going away. I'll just jump on now. And then hopefully, after I've done my spraying, contact you and just say, I'm on. But you noticed I was on, which is good anyway. So you came on. So, but yeah, as I say, I'm no Airfix and Chill tomorrow night. So this is more like an infill really for that. So I'm going to wait for a week. I'm just going to ignore everything. And then I'm back again next Monday. And then we're going to be meeting up Tuesday. But I still don't know how confidential that is. So it is still confidential, yes. Is it still confidential, is it? I can neither confirm or deny that I will see you on that Tuesday. Yeah, I can tell you, but I'll have to kill you. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Cheers, Bye-bye.